Welcome back. We all know the importance of investing for the future, but how much thought have you put into exactly where your money is going?
That's a great question. Well, our next guest is here to explain how taking a responsible approach to our investments can make a big difference in both our personal wealth and in the world. Please welcome finance expert Melissa Leong.
It's so good to see you, Melissa. So this is timely because it's RSP season, so a lot of people are thinking about investments. It's very much top of mind. But what does it mean to invest responsibly?
It's basically any investment strategy where you are seeking to make money and to make the world a better place. So in Canada, more than $2 trillion is invested in socially responsible investments. And it's becoming more popular, especially amongst younger generations. Millennials are 65% more likely than boomers to consider ethical factors when it comes to investing.
So what are some examples of socially responsible invest? It almost seems like it doesn't go together, these words.
No, you can make a good. Okay, if you were to invest in a company that is doing work that you believe in, that would be considered ethical investing, socially responsible investing. So, for example, if you feel really strongly about climate change, you might invest in a bond, which is a loan, a type of loan that finances clean energy projects. Or if you were all about female empowerment, then you might invest in a fund that supports companies that focus on women in leadership roles. So you think about the causes that are important to you, and maybe think about some activities that you just don't want anything to do with.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so let's say for people who've already been investing, how can we find out if what we've already invested in is socially responsible today?
Okay, let's say you have stocks. It is probably easier to find out whether or not the companies that you are invested in are socially responsible because everybody is happy to brag about the good work that they do, right? We're good corporate citizens. They've said it on their website, maybe in their annual reports. There are independent firms that actually categorize companies based on a set of criteria. Mutual funds, a little bit more difficult because your mutual fund may have, maybe made up of hundreds of stocks and bonds and other assets. So how do you figure out what is everybody doing in here? It's a little bit harder to figure out. So if socially responsible investing is important to you, then you might consider looking into a socially responsible fund.
Okay, so how do you go about finding that socially responsible investment?
Okay, so let's roll it back to stocks. Stocks would be if you were doing a DIY approach. You can actually purchase individual stocks. You would do the research.
Like a la carte.
Yeah, with a discount brokerage. You would think, I like what this company is doing, I'm putting my money there. With a socially responsible fund, because it's more popular, people are basically creating this basket of funds for you. And there are funds that exclude so-called undesirable behavior, and there are funds that basically handpick certain kind of companies that go to meet a specific goal. So for example, this fund is all gonna be companies that support female empowerment. That's another example. The other thing to do is to look at a robo-advisor. It sounds like, when I first heard robo-advisor, I thought, oh, that's a cute robot that's gonna do, my money management, has a little tie, opens up with a T. But it's actually a platform or maybe an app that builds and manages an investment portfolio for you. And a lot of robo-advisors have a preset portfolio for you that is ethical. And so you just go, click, yes, and away you go.
But you're trusting their research for it, right?
Yes.
That is the buy-in for it.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to get back to that. But let me roll forward. So there is another way to look at an ethical investing within your community. So in the country or locally, if there's a specific project you want to support. So that might mean that you are funding a renewable resource development in a First Nations community, for example. And then the fifth thing to do is to talk to your advisor. So you go into the bank or you see your financial planner and you say, ethical investing is my new jam, bring it on. Like, what do you got for me, right? When we say we are trusting someone, yes, it's important to do your own research. Because if you're gonna make a meaningful impact in the world, the way to do it that empowers you is by being engaged. And so when you call your advisor, you say, do it for me. Yes, but you do have to do a little bit of research to make sure that you're putting your money in places that you actually care about.
Sounds like it. Great.
What about, someone like me who likes one-stop shopping? Is there a simple strategy to building an ethical portfolio, but doing it in one place?
So a fund is a great way. So walking in, yes, you can go into your advisor and ask them to help you. The robo-advisor will have a option for you where you just check the box. It takes 15 minutes to sign up for an account with a robo-advisor, and then away you go. So that's probably the easiest place, is to get a fund that is been packaged already for you.
Okay.
So here's my question, because my perspective, my personal perspective on investing is a little bit like gambling. You have $10, you play a game.
Yep.
You want to get the maximum amount of winnings out of that game.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like investing, you have $10, you want to invest it in a place where you get the maximum amount. Now, socially unconscious investing gets you $10 makes you $1 million. Socially conscious investing, $10 makes you $100,000. The gambler in me says, I just lost $900,000. How do we? No, but I get it. I get it.
What is going on here?
But that is the gambler's
Okay.
mentality, and that is, frankly, many investors' mentality. It's not how much you make, it's how much you lose. So how do we reconcile that? It's an honest question about this area.
No, absolutely, and it's totally fair, and a lot of people believe that, which is why there is still debate, because there is that point of view. Research is coming out. There is research that shows that if you ethically invest, it does not harm your returns. It is comparable. There is also more research that shows that if you invest with a ethical company, ethical companies perform well. If you think about it, it makes sense, right? You're a company that is going to do good in the world, and that speaks to your reputation. And if you have a poopy reputation, that affects your finances. And you're also going to be a company that is safe, creating a happy, healthy work environment. Employees, customers, they're going to be happy. You're going to be seen as more productive, attracting more good people, and you're less receive an investment.
Okay, here's a question. Is it still considered responsible investing if a company's business practices itself are very ethical, but the country in which it exists in are not necessarily, this kind of thing is not mandated across the board, there's no standardization across the board? Is that still ethical?
That is an awesome question, and especially because in this world of globalization, more companies are doing business and collaborating with other companies all over the world. And we've seen that with North American companies that work with factories in, say, a developing nation where safety standards, building code standards are not as stringent as ours. But you can still be considered an ethical company, a socially responsible company, if you are doing work in your field that is above your peers, that you are still striving to make a positive impact. So for example, if you are working in a high-risk nation, but you are trying to lobby the local government to try to bring safety across the board, if you are a mining company and you are doing above and beyond work to work with the local inhabitants, to try to make sure that you respect their wishes and their concerns, there are ways to be good.
And lastly, impact. Much like the environment, the more that we're all doing together, the better it is for Mother Earth. But when it comes to socially responsible investing, what kind of impact does it mean if more of us were trying to seek out these kinds of companies to invest in?
I think that if more of us chose socially responsible investments, I think it would signal to the world that we want a better place, we're voting with our dollars. So businesses, if you want my money, if you want my business, I want you to be a good corporate citizen. Governments and regulators, we want this. So we would like more systems in place that rank socially responsible companies. I think sometimes we think, oh, I mean, what difference will it really make, my small dollars? I think if all of us made small choices, collectively we could have big impact.
Love it.
Wow, this was great, Melissa. Thank you so very much. Learned a lot. We will have all of these great investment tips up on our website after today's show. Stick around, we're back after this.